Just gotta remember not to get too close.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out with mine too.
I need more light in here. Here we go. Yeah, you need to.
I was wondering, you're all in the shadows.
Yeah, sorry about that. But yeah, you need to get the camera way the hell up here, angled way down, kicking the duck face. You know, social media style.
The day I do duck face is the last day on Earth, at least for me.
All right, cool. We're just waiting for Twitch to connect, and then we'll be live.
Hopefully, it's nicer to us this time than last.
Yeah. If it disconnects or whatever, we'll just keep going, and obviously when it's done, I'll go in and edit the shit together and upload it to the YouTube like I did last time. So, we'll just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
Yeah. Twitch is always takes the longest to connect here.
Yeah, Twitch's ingest servers are a bit slower.
Mm-hmm. All right, cool. Yeah, let's get going here. Hey, we're live. Everybody can see us now.
Great.
So yeah, what I'd like to do, that obviously this is session 0, so I would like to treat it as such, and introduce each one of you so you can tell a little bit about yourself, just your history in gaming and what you're into or whatever, and then tell us about your character. Go into what the role is and the details of the life path and all that good stuff. So yeah, sound good?
Yeah.
All
Sounds
right,
good to me.
let's do it. Who wants to go first? Eric, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll just get out of the way. My name's Eric. I've been playing pretty much games, at least on console, since I was a kid, but probably about last 8 years or so, I just started getting into role-playing games and tabletop RPGs. I lucked out when one of my friends ended up just giving me a box of Cyberpunk 2020 books, and that got me hooked. So I've been pretty much following this game and a few others for a while, but this is probably my most enjoyable one. And I probably GM'd a campaign for about a year, and then I've just been trying to pick up games here and there.
Nice.
And for my character,
Yeah,
I created...
let me just interject real quick. I'm excited that we finally get to play together because, I've been playing for a while now, and on the games that I've been doing, and then even just the games I've been setting up with other friends, other teams, Eric has helped, with maps and just like great to bounce ideas off of you. I love that. Obviously with this campaign with team 2, there will be none of that shit because you got to be in the dark on everything going on. But on Team 1 and other games, like I still enjoy chatting with you about that. So anyways, I'm just excited that you get to play. But go on, tell us about your character.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Look forward to you trying to kill us off in every other turn because I know too much.
Yeah.
But I created Dodger. He's a fixer. His backstory is he grew up in the zone. His mom was a third-rate solo, so she was probably just doing security guard work and like bodyguard work here and there. His dad was a bartender who would pour her drinks and pretty much ran the bar for local solos and other kinds of middling, like scum types. They raised him as best they could until one day the bar they lived over was blown up, and they were just considered collateral damage because unfortunately, you have a bunch of solos at a bar, they always make some enemies. He grew up on the streets. He lived as a pickpocket and would do smuggling stuff for the Water Rats, a local booster gang at the harbor. And he's just been trying to work his way up. He's made some friends here and there, but recently he's fallen a little bit on hard times after having his arm destroyed by a solo he thought was working with him, and he was left for dead. So now he's looking to pretty much get back to where he was and get some payback along the way.
Nice.
Nice.
Love it.
Thank you.
Daniel, you want to tell us about you and the gaming stuff? I know we've chatted online a bunch, but fill everybody in on your gaming history, about you, and then tell us about Curly.
Sure. So yeah, my name's Daniel. Born here in Southern California. I've been doing IT stuff pretty much all my life. So computer stuff has always been good. Neuromancer is one of my top favorite books. So I've always been a fan of Cyberpunk, but I've never actually had an opportunity to play. But I've been playing D&D, Vampire the Masquerade, other tabletop Star Wars. for probably 25 years. So I'm, pretty well versed in tabletop. It's just Cyberpunk is one of those games I've always wanted to play and just never had an opportunity. So I'm super looking forward to this.
Awesome.
And I made the character. My character's name's Curly, and he was a net runner, and he was born, in Japanese, but with curly hair, which is not a common occurrence. And he was kind of teased as a kid, and he picked up the nickname Curly, and he kind of has decided to own it. It's him. And was born in a family, of corporate executives. Kind of bounced around from company to company. They, weren't exactly high-ranking people, but kind of went from company to company until, similar to, it sounds like Dodger Story, they became collateral damage in some sort of raid that left them both dead, and my character a orphan. So I kind of roamed around and ended up making some friends here and there. Made a good friend in the police force, and gotten used to finding people to help him along, but get him with more learning and more net running. He's personal hero's Ray Bartmoss, so he wants to be the best.
Nice. All right, cool. Now let's get into Valerie, who anyone who doesn't know, Valerie is my beautiful wife.
Hello.
And she's
the bringer of water.
Yeah, you saw it on past episodes. And just so everybody knows, I'm running a team 1 and a team 2. This is team 2. We're also going to be doing, I believe, a monthly campaign with a separate team and some one-shots. We're just going to play as much as possible. And I'm calling it Approaching Red, because obviously we are approaching the time of Red. Once those core books come out, I've got a couple clever ways that I'm going to allow my teams to get into that time period. If they get to that point, I can't say too much in a certain way that allows me to do that, but till then I'm kind of using the Red starter kit rules, mixing in a little bit of 2020 skills and things where we need to supplement, and a little bit of homebrew. Some of the things, like I'm using the net running and that sort of environment from Red Starter, even though this is kind of prior to the fourth corporate war, and like the internet's supposed to still kind of be there, but I'm going to use the whole starter kit net running aspect where you have to be within 6 meters and stuff. So little things like that will come into play because we are approaching Red, and we want to use as much of that as we can, at least to our knowledge. As much as we know about it, we're going to use. So that's just to fill people in that are listening and watching, so they know what we're doing here. But yeah, back to Valerie Mulligan, my beautiful wife, who's playing Raven. I want to let everybody know about you, and I know all about you, about acting and helping with the businesses and everything. But yeah, tell people about what you do, and then tell us about Raven.
Well, I've been playing D&D for a little while now. We have another game that we play with that. I did Cyberpunk for a little bit on another game. I watched Rob for years playing in our living room. I enjoy playing role-playing games. I do a lot of little acting here and there. You probably see me killed off a bunch of times in Rob's movies, which is great. Right now I'm a caregiver, so yay, I love it. I've been there almost a year now. So this is a nice stress reliever to go ahead and do some damage, because my character is a solo. Her name is Dana Watson, and she goes by Raven. And when she was a preteen, her family was taken from her. She was actually hiding in, we live in the low income area of LA, very poor, family really never worked. They just live off the system, just alcoholics, always fighting. So I found, as a relief, was just hide in the walls and made a little nook just to get away from mom and dad. Didn't have any siblings, only child. So about 18 years, my parents were taken, like I was saying, and they were actually taken by Solos. A corporation of Solos came into the house and raided our apartment. And I hid in the actual walls and stayed in there, made sure nobody saw me or heard me, and with all the rats crawling around me. And the only thing I saw when they were taking my parents was a logo, and it's the only thing I remember. And I've been trying to write it down and try to figure it out, but I think if I actually saw it, it would jog my memory a little bit more because I think I repressed a lot of it. Because right after all that happened, I ended up running out of the wall because they ended up blowing up the building. So I didn't really have anywhere to stay. So as a preteen, I was for a couple of weeks on the streets of LA running around. There's a gang that was always picking on me because they wanted me to join, but I didn't want to become a gang member. I just wanted to get out of that area and find my family. But I was taken in by a solo lady, a local lady who ended up being a solo. And she took me in, and she actually accepted me when she asked me what my name was. And the only thing I could come up with was Raven. I felt comfortable telling her that. So she never knew my real name either. So anybody ever comes with the name Raven or Dana Watson, I'm very kind of be a little worried about them. She showed me the tricks of the trade. She showed me how to be a solo. I went on a lot of missions with her as a teenager. One of the missions, I actually lost my left hand, or actually my whole arm and my whole right leg. So it was a whole explosion. So I lost those, and she brought me back and taught me how to use all my cybernetics. Went on a job with her, went on a few more jobs here and there as a teenager, learned a really lot. She taught me how to use my sexuality, but also to be smart about it. So I'm a petite girl, but very muscular. And so I kind of fit everywhere, and I don't take crap from anybody, but I try not to use my sexuality. So I kind of always wear a hood and look like I'm kind of bulky in my clothes, but they are kind of fitted. But once I take my jacket off to do my missions, it's kind of like a Bond villain kind of girl. So I definitely have a two-side of my character, but I definitely am more rough. My motivation is vengeance. I want to find out where my family is, where did they disappear to? I want to gain power and control so I can find my family. I only have one friend, and he's also a former lover that I met as a teenager. It didn't work out as being lovers because I was just so dominant. I'm trying to find my family. So we just ended up being really good friends and staying that way. And then he ended up leaving to take a job overseas and just get away from everything. So we don't really communicate anymore. So I do have somebody out there that knows me and knows my real name. My enemies are the co-op. I can't remember what it's called. It's like Fiji Financial Group.
Oh, the Fujiwara.
Yeah, thank you.
Fujiwara, I think.
Yeah, corporation in Japan. I read your sheet.
So they're for some reason that name kind of muffled in my brain for so long, and I don't know if that has to do with the logo, but it's always muffling, and I can't stand them, and I want to take them down. Those are my dreams. And I do have a rival gang that picked on me, that wanted me in there, and I did a lot of jobs that actually interfered with their gang. So there's one particular girl that's always kind of trying to get at me. So anytime she sees me anywhere locally, can be at the store or anything, we're constantly fighting and bickering at each other and doing a one-on-one with each other. And let's see, I'm stable, serious, but tough. Pretty much that's it. That's Raven. That's so Raven.
Yeah, so it sounds definitely like, Bond villain sort of female, can manipulate people using her femininity, but definitely a badass and can kill. So very assassin-like.
She's a femme fatale.
Exactly. And I think you forgot to mention too that after the lady who was taking care of you went out for a job and didn't come back. So obviously something bad happened to her on a gig or whatever. But you ended up leaving LA and moving to Night City, just to kind of start fresh and get the hell out of LA.
Right, because she disappeared from a job. She told me not to go with her, and we had a rule: if we need to return back within 24 hours, vacate the area and never go back.
Sounds good. That sounds awesome. So yeah, I love everybody's character. We've got a fixer, a net runner, a solo. It's a pretty badass team. Definitely, different ways that you guys can fight and also interact with people, and whether you're using your mouth as a weapon or actual weapon as a weapon, but. I think the thing to do here now is let's figure out a way that intertwines you guys together, because what I would like to do is your team, obviously, the fixer does side gigs and stuff, and I would almost like to say like one of your mentors or best buddies in the fixer game is also this guy Dutch, who kind of hooks you up with other side gigs and things in Night City as well. You mean
rival, right?
And, yeah,
the guy who was trying to take my jobs.
No. You get along with this guy, but the thing is the net runner, Curly, you can easily do side gigs here and there for corporations and normal net running stuff on the side, aside from you guys working together as a team. And then Val, obviously, as a solo, you belong to the Night City Merc Board. You get gigs through that all the time just to do, whether it's bodyguarding or extraction or assassin or whatever types of Merc Board shit comes up. That's how you maybe can involve the team. A fixer is obviously a great way to be getting gigs and jobs and find things. A solo on the Merc board is a great way, but a net runner can also get hired by a corp where maybe they need a team of people to help when he has to do things. So there's all those ways that you guys can get gigs and work together. But how did you guys meet and get kind of started in Night City? I know how Raven got there, leaving LA because of all the shit. Dodger's been there and working the fucking seedy streets and doing his fixer things. Curly's been there working and doing net running things. How are you guys going to meet and kind of how work together?
Well, I think as a fixer, it's really easy for Dodger to, because one of his few friends is Bet, and she's a net runner, so I can see her easily linking up with Curly and having him come to Dodger for a job here and there. So that could just make them sort of acquaintances. And Raven being a solo, especially in LA, that knows about, it would make her really much a valuable client of him hiring out or coming to him for jobs, because he's trying to climb as high as he can in the underworld to sort of get out of the combat zone and live the high life. So he's always wheeling and dealing. And at that, he's more of a smuggler and pickpocket, so he would probably sell programs to Curly and Raven on the side too.
Okay.
Help him out with jobs.
Curly's, because I rolled through the whole life path stuff, and I ended up rolling. I have a bunch of friends. I have like a friend on the police force that I got super lucky with, and then I also have an old enemy that became a friend, a partner core worker that became a friend, and then another friend through a common interest. So like I have a lot of friends and actually know like enemies in the normal sense, or at least in the life path sense. So yeah, I mean that could totally work in the sense, you said you had already a net runner in your mind. It could be, that could be one of the, maybe that net runner was an old enemy of mine that I've, we've become kind of mutual respect, and somewhat friends, doing that kind of stuff.
Yeah, and it definitely seems,
right.
if Dodger's networking and intermixed with so many different people like a fixer is, and then Curly, obviously you've made so many friends over the course of your life path and doing jobs and intermingled with so many people, it's safe to say that you guys have crossed paths maybe a few times before that mutual respect came about from killing that rival netrunner or something coming about with that. Maybe there's something there, you know what I mean? But I definitely could see you guys crossing paths a few times in random gigs or at a random night market or something, picking up some things. I could see all that. Now, how would we tie Raven in, being that she's so, I don't want to say recluse, because she definitely knows how to manipulate and seduce and talk to people as well, but she's an assassin. She's very solo-like, being abandoned and living the streets, and then by the lady who...
Right, and I'm only like 22. I'm very young.
Yeah.
So how can we tie that in?
I mean, my character's
because I'd like to let me say this, because I would love to tie her in.
The oldest.
I would love to tie her in such a way that it's not like you guys or the typical way that I kind of did on Team 1 in certain ways, where it's you met her through a merc board or just doing jobs. It'd be cool if we think of something else, like whether it's being related on family, then you find that out. Not that should be it, but just for the sake of conversation, finding something else. Let's be creative here and think of a way.
Well. For Dodger, he sort of thinks of himself as like a gentleman thief almost, of he's sort of above the whole combat zone. So for him, a normal night out is like going to the high-end bars and pretty much just stealing stuff from these corporates who are drinking and then selling it on the side after forging it. Like, so all those fake IDs, those are coming from him half the time. Like fake cred chips, stolen phones. He's just disseminating all that sort of stuff after he's stealing it. And Raven being a high-end solo that seduces people, I see her easily being in a bar, and him sort of trying to lift something off her and it not going so well for him. So it could be easily they butt heads when they first meet. He thinks, but he can tell she's straight from the street, so he knows she's a little bit more. So he sort of marks her for, maybe I can find work for her, she might be more valuable as an asset than just a mark and a target. So I like them building sort of a mutual relationship of she's good at what she does.
Yeah. I can see that. Val, it sounded like you got cut out or he got cut out. You didn't hear some of that? Is that what you said?
Yeah, I didn't hear some of that.
Okay, yeah, I think his video froze up a little bit too, but that's working through Roll20, which we love. It's free and it has a great assets to use. But we do know that they're getting ready to do a big update tomorrow night. There's going to be there's going to be some downtime at like 11:30 p.m. just for anybody that's watching the live feed, just so you know. But yeah, they do have some issues, and I think they're working on improving the site and stuff. So every once in a while, the sound might glitch, and also anybody watching, sometimes it might disconnect, and then our live stream will reconnect. Just bear with us. Go check out Mulligan Live on YouTube, and you can kind of see the current live feed, and then I'll eventually paste those together if that happens. But yeah, just to fill Val in, maybe Dodger, give her the Cliff's Notes version of what you just said.
But yeah. Well, since he thinks of himself as a gentleman thief, he goes to bars, hits on women, steals stuff from high-end corporates, and since you're the femme fatale, probably you're trying to find a mark to lure away, and I tried to steal something from him or you, and you caught me, and we sort of had that mutual moment of we're both here for not the same reasons, but maybe we can work with each other.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Maybe like the common enemy at that time, even though you treated a little bit different,
Yeah, I didn't want to get shot.
Yeah.
That's usually a good thing.
Yeah.
No, I like that.
It's not good for a rep if I get killed by a 22-year-old.
No, I like
especially a 22-year-old girl.
Yeah. No, I like that a lot. Unless we think of any other ideas that we want to throw in the ring.
That's very clever. Yeah, that's very clever. I'm still trying to get in the bars and try to get in the corporate areas and try to almost blend in like a hooker, but not really.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, maybe we're doing a gig at that point.
Dodger knows people. He can set you up with the right people.
And Curly values, good times. So he's not, he likes going out to bars, likes, doing maybe weird runs that, don't, most, net runners would be like, no, it's not worth the time, or that's maybe a little out of my league, but, kind of a, he gets off on the thrill sometimes of doing certain things. So, but he's also a little quirky, we'll say.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Dodger would see Curly as I need an expendable net runner if things go bad. I'll call Curly. What's the worst that could happen?
Yeah, no, and I like it. And I think, as far as doing the corpse too, like maybe it is some type of thing where Raven was hired to do a gig, and was hitting on the same guy and about to take him out, that you were, pickpocketing or trying to steal from, and that'd be cool. And maybe just between that mutual respect and just like, well, fuck, we're kind of hitting the same marks here. Maybe we could work together and benefit somehow, and blossomed that relationship over the course of time. And now here we are. Maybe within that time, Dodger, you were able to also introduce her to Curly at one point, because you've already crossed paths with him and had the mutual respect. So maybe at one point there was a gig that y'all had to do, and you needed a net runner, so you brought him in, and it was like, fuck, we love working together. Maybe it can be something like that. So,
and one of the things that we could do is like one of my goals is, my parents were killed, but I don't know exactly how it happened. They jumped around so many corporations. It wasn't like they were Arasaka and it was obviously Militech or something to that effect. So one of his things when he's doing these runs and looking for information, he's trying to also find how his parents died, perhaps get revenge on that.
How about this? No, I love that. How about this? Because I would like to, like I said, alter it a little more than just meeting through gigs and all that typical stuff, because that's what we're going to be diving into, and that's a thing, obviously, especially in Night City. It's going to happen all the time. But you mentioning that, you guys do have that common ground where, Raven, her parents were taken, yours disappeared or were murdered, or you're trying to figure out.
Yeah, murdered, but just trying to figure out how it happened and exactly who did it. Yeah,
how about we do something a little odd here where it's like, you're at a constant trying to track that information down, and you're also helping Raven now, with her trying to track down and remember symbols and see what that, what happened with her family. And that's something on the side that you guys do aside from working together as gigs. But how you met, maybe, was that like a little self-help group or something that maybe you guys got together whether in the net or in the local, to try to vent about, issues with that or something, and kind of met at the self-help. And it's like, fuck, you're a net runner, and maybe you even brought up trying to hack and find ways to help the group, and got kicked out of the group because they don't, they frown upon that. They're just trying to help people and not hack to find, get to the bottom of it or whatever.
Yeah,
and
they're trying
to. When you got kicked out, Raven followed and was like, "No, I like the shit you're talking. In fact, I could use your help too." What were you gonna say?
Yeah, I mean that could be a good way to do it. Since I'm looking for my family, I could also be, trying to figure out where hers.
Yeah, it's it's similar. But what were you gonna say, Dodger?
Hey Rob, I got an idea of. Well, remember how I was saying my Dodger's characters? His dad was a bartender. His mom was like a solo. So, and before the bar blew up, it was sort of the regular hangout for solos. So my thinking is maybe we tie that into that bar that her dad ran. His dad was a fixer, and that was sort of just the job place for people to come in, find work, like in the harbor area. And Solo and my Raven's caretaker, she had mentioned it. If you're in up at Night City, go to that bar. They'll probably find you work.
That's true.
And that's sort of the place that I essentially almost taken over, or at least I use as a front for my businesses. And it could be a place where Curly comes in and does some work here and there too.
Yeah.
So it's like, I guess I could sort of have that as like a little hub of people coming and going, where I can either fence stuff or take stuff in and just sort of find work for everybody. And it's sort of that could be a way of me and Raven, after meeting at our own bar in the corporate center, of she sort of found her way back there.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
That's good.
Or we can go with the route of all our parents are dead, so we're Disney princesses at this point.
Yeah. Well, we don't know if hers are dead, right?
Yeah, Alan.
Yeah, they were taken, but corporations, when they kidnap a whole family, they're typically not taking them to Disney.
Sure.
No.
So, yeah, like Raven eventually finds her family, and they're pimping out in a penthouse suite at the top floor of some skyrise. They're like in luxurious clothing, eating fucking fine dining, and they're just like,
"Damn, she found us."
Yeah, where were you? Like, they came and saved our asses. We won the lottery. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why you didn't come. But...
Yeah,
that's funny.
That's what she gets for hiding in the wall.
Yeah. Right.
No, I like it, and I love the Bill. I love all of that. If all of that had brief meeting within, because the self-help thing, getting kicked out and kind of establishing the hacking things here, helping her with her family too. I would love to tie that also with Dodger knew him, and it becomes like this, holy shit, it's a small world, because I ran into Dodger over here. Oh, you know that fixer? Yeah, I go over here. Oh, I've heard of that bar. The lady I was taking care of said I could always go there and check out for gigs. I've been meaning to check it out. You know what I mean? And it kind of all ties together like that. And then using that bar thing, I love that idea, because like you said, we could use that as another sort of way to fence things or get gigs or whatever. It's just another outlet, so that's awesome. Not that you own it and make big money there.
Figure out a good name for it.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it could be something like, well, is it a bar, or is it like, do they do food?
Probably. I would say it was probably a bar. That was just, it's cash business.
Okay, so maybe
it's easier to sort of hide money laundering and such.
Okay, so maybe it's like the Drink Runner.
And Solo's
maybe it's called the Drink Runner, and it's with the same font as Blade Runner, that retro movie.
That would be funny.
And it's right next to
it's
right next to the Plate Runner, which is a little restaurant,
food restaurant.
Yeah. But yeah, and how do you know?
My last name is Hawkins. So I can go with Hawk's End.
Well, I don't want to have you owning the place. It's got to be a place that, maybe you have a mutual hookup with somebody there, or something to run out of. But I definitely don't want you owning your own business yet. And then that's the other thing we didn't discuss, how everyone's living, where they're living, and then transportation, or if everyone's just kind of doing coffins and temp spots and hotels and hostels, or what.
I'm doing coffins, and, I just kind of lay low in my little hood. If I have to sleep on the street, I will. I'm not afraid of that. I'm very low key. Don't have a place to stay. I can't drive. I never learned how to drive, but I will try.
Yeah, I mean, I currently I don't think he just coffins. He doesn't usually stay at home because he wants to get out and get connected to things and do runs, and sitting in a house or something that's just not that's boring. So he goes out, and so he doesn't need much. He just needs somewhere to sleep and store some little stuff.
What about Dodger? Did you get an apartment or anything, or are you doing the same thing?
Dodger actually has a car, and he's sort of living on the harbor, like what was it, like retrofitted low rent apartments in some of the warehouses. Just staying close to where he works and people he knows, because he's sort of tight knit with the smugglers there and the nomads that come through.
Okay, cool. So yeah, if you want, I don't know if I have different apartment maps and stuff, but you've also made some with me and for me. Do you have, if you want to map out how you want that to look, I don't know if you're paying the $1,500 like a studio apartment or paying more or what it is, but if you want to plan that out, or I can, because I have some other ones too. But that'll probably end up being,
I may wear us one.
Aside from that bar that you kind of network out of and maybe are partners with somebody out of there. Let's figure that out. But aside from that, obviously you having the actual apartment will be the other kind of home base hub or something. If you guys are all doing a gig or getting together to go over stuff, or the others need a place to crash or something to that extent, I would imagine. And obviously you're the one with the vehicle, so everyone's looking at you to get around.
Currently going in the trunk is a 2-person car. Yet, but I can find. I'll steal a bigger if I need to, or I have connections. We'll figure something out.
Yeah. But yeah, it'd be cool. I would like to instead of like I said, instead of owning your own bar or that spot yet, I would kind of like to make that something else, like something like. Obviously you work out of there, and maybe you're the only fixer there. Like when people want to hire you and your team for a gig, they know to find you there. But maybe a family thing or a friend thing or something owns it, and I don't mind like making you a partner. Like maybe they're like they try to hook you up because you give them a cut if certain things work or whatever, and eventually you can own it, or we can play into some things with that, because I do have some ideas floating in my head. But I just didn't want to start with you right away owning your own business.
No, I understand.
Can't start that cool. You guys are badasses in Night City, but like I kind of want to start it a little more even playing field and a little lower level and build up with it. That's also why just for people watching, I'm doing that, the limitations with the weapons and the armor and certain things, just to get started. And once we get going and you get through the first gigs and you start making money, by all means we can buy any gear and armor and weapons and things, and we'll work our way through. But any ideas there, Dodger, for that bar?
I'm thinking. Well, there is a place called the. No, that's by the Harbor Master. Looking over the Night City book, because there are a few places on the marina that are already established, which would actually work pretty well. One of those things is actually maybe the Pier 3 Paradise. It's like a sort of a big chain restaurant, all sort of bar, sort of. Would probably do the same job of me just sort of being there.
Okay. Does it say anything about who owns it? I don't have my Night City book here, and I should have brought it into the room, but...
No, but it doesn't look like there's anyone who specifically owns that one I can see.
Okay, well, because if not, what I'd like
There's
to do
also
is
a place called Joe's There's also a place called Joe's Diner, which would still work.
Yeah, I kind of like that too, because that sounds like it might be smaller and a little more low key or something.
More low key.
Yeah, very Pulp Fiction-esque or whatever. It has like that.
Literally an old 60s diner.
Yeah.
And one of the describers is that the gangs sort of avoid there because a lot of solos eat there, sort of as that place to relax after the end of the night. So
well, I like that,
it's not a place anyone starts problems.
Yeah. That's where we get our coffee.
Yeah, your post gig get together, or the next day breakfast to get together. Maybe it's right there. So yeah, we'll work that. Does it talk about the owner? Does it mention Joe? That Joe's down there?
doesn't say who Joe is, but it does mention that there's a waitress who sort of knows what's going on in the streets at all the times.
Okay, so maybe she's
So
the
there
one
is
that
someone
kinda...
by Nina Santiago.
Ooh,
Okay.
Nina.
Oh, Santiago. Okay, cool. That's related to the Nomad or somebody, or who's?
I don't know. I don't think so, but even then, that's
Well,
I'm
sounds so
a little
familiar.
loose with the Night City lore, like we talked about before, but that name sounds really fucking familiar to me.
Yeah, like
yeah. I
that
think
just
it's
came up
Santiago
recently
Avocado.
somewhere.
I think. I think it's Santiago.
Well, we'll just say this, okay?
He's one of the big ones.
Exactly. Yeah, but that girl, she, whether we find out she's related or whatever, she's the one, when you go there, if there is a gig, you can always ask her. She'll tell you, when people are looking for you, they usually go to her. She finds you. Aside from that, we'll say Joe, the owner, is this dude Crazy Joe. Maybe he used to be a solo. That's why solos go there and eat too. It's aside from networking and gigs and stuff. But he's just this crazy old fucking scarred up solo dude, but he's actually a sweetheart. He's like a teddy bear once you get to know him.
I like that.
That sounds good to me.
All right, cool. I think we got it. I think that's our session 0, guys and girl, my beautiful wife Valerie. But yeah, no, I think it's great. We've got our fixer Dodger, we've got our netrunner Curly, and we've got our solo Raven. We know you guys all work together and stuff. Let's have our session 1, our first mission, or at least get the game started tomorrow. Anybody watching, I know typically I'm running Team 1 on Wednesdays at 6, but that's going to now probably be our Team 2 slot, because Team 1 is probably moving to Sundays, but I'm not positive yet. But you can find out easily by looking me up on social media or just going to Mulligan Live on YouTube. I don't think there's anything else to add. Does anybody else have anything? Anything I might have forgot to mention, or anything anyone's thinking of?
I don't think so.
Nothing comes to my mind.
Awesome. I think we're good. So cool. We'll get started tomorrow.
That sounds great,
man.
then.
Thanks so much, guys. And thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Please make sure, if you're watching this, share the video, subscribe to the YouTube channel, hit like. Help spread the word about Cyberpunk. We fucking love this game, and we want more players, more GMs, more streams, just more Cyberpunk. I can't wait till Red comes out. So please show us some love. All right.
Yes, please do.